tune in, this is where it's at. The Fantasy Football Plug Podcast. You know that we got it poppin'. Oh yeah, that's apparent. Got a shout out to my homie, one and only J.
You have now accessed a complicated production.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for tuning in to Plugged In with Jay. I have a very special guest today, Agent 89, Mr. Steve Smith Sr. himself. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being on the show, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks for the invite. The consistency.
Yeah, I know. That's how I do my grind, man.
I respect it. Yes or no, I still respect it.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's get it kicked off for you, my man. That way you can get on with your day. For anybody who is tuning in, Mr. Smith Sr. is on the road right now. I believe heading to go to some golfing tournaments. Is that right?
Possibly. Very, very possibly.
Right. All right, excellent. So, in your Steve's Truth episode, you are one of the hosts of Cut To It podcast, one of my favorite to listen to.
Just through that process of being on the cover of Matt.
That's been a dream of mine all my life. You know, I done seen all the greats on it. Tom Brady, Ray Lewis, Donovan McNabb. I done seen everybody on it. Gronk. So it's like, man, I want to be on it too. And, you know, they revealed to me the cover early. I don't cry about stuff. I didn't cry when I won Heisman. I didn't cry when I won all the other accolades, I'm just going to say. But when I seen the cover, like, I actually shedded, like, tears. Like, what the? Like, really? It's unreal. Yeah, I did.
In your Steve Truth episode, you talk about getting to know the man behind the jersey. I mean, that's exactly what I want to do on my show with any of the interviews that I'm blessed to have. I know we're limited for time, but I'm hoping we can get a little bit of a click on this interview to where eventually we can do a deeper interview possibly. But so you are renowned for your ability to trash talk your opponent and get in their heads. I mean, where did that skill set come from?
And to show you jackasses that at 37 years old, I can still play.
Only thing I gotta say is I'm too old to be doing these little boys like I'm doing them. The next time you see me, call me Mr. Steve. Senior is what they call me.
But for me, as I look at it, where a guy gets me riled up, he thinks that he's getting me out of my game. Or a guy says, oh, see, look, he's losing his focus. But for me, I don't lose my focus. I narrow my target.
You know, a lot of people, I guess, you know, I hope this doesn't come across with shade, but that's one of the reasons why my podcast and what we try to do is get away from the stigma of, you know, trash talking or this or that, and really get behind the veil. So with the trash talking is this, man, I'm very cognizant of race. I'm in an interracial marriage. My kids are biracial. I live in the South. I went to college in Utah. So with that all being said, for me, race is something that we deal with it to some degree every day.
Sure.
Me and my family. And so with that being said is I grew up in a black ethnic hood family. Okay. And in that means, you know, playing dominoes, playing tunk, playing cards. And there's certain conversations that come up on the card and domino table with grown folks. And I say grown folks is because in our family, if you can't count, you can't play cards, dominoes, you're not allowed. You gotta go play at the kiddie table.
All right.
And so with that, I really grew up. My mom is one of 13. Between my grandmother who had my mother and my mother who had me, and then my children, there's 65 of us, and we get after and we talk ish to each other like nobody's business, right? And it's been that way since I was a little boy. It's like that now that I'm a grown boy. And so it's just one of those things. I grew up in an era where you just talk, you talk shit, man. You have fun with it. You with your mouth and with your words, you undress somebody. And that's how you cut deep to somebody. But at the same time, I also know with that same tongue, with that same mouth, you can also encourage and inspire people. And so I try to do my best by really shooting people straight, but also being straight and honest with myself and with other people. And that's why our podcast is, in the short term that we've done it, is doing so well. But also, I think changing the narrative of how people look at athletes and how they represent and who they are.
Absolutely, man. That's a great answer, man. Awesome. All right. So I wanted to talk to you about the Steve Smith Family Foundation. I've got a lot of facts and things like this here. I mean, how you've helped put 100 underprivileged kids through school this year. That's incredible, man. My hat is off.
The foundation initially got started to fight against domestic violence, to help and restore families, women, and children, and allowing the Charlotte community to be involved.
That's fantastic. Could you tell me a little bit more about the Steve Smith Family Foundation?
Well, we have a medical clinic where we opened up in 2016, and we have over 6,000 patients, clients that we serve free of charge. And then now we realize that there's a need you say underprivileged, I'm gonna just straight cut to it. Man, these kids are homeless. These kids they're living in shelters, living in motels and hotels provided through government assistance. So these kids are a little bit underprivileged is the nice word. These kids don't have a lot. So we're trying to provide them and giving them something. And since we started our virtual academy for these kids, test reading levels, math is up 30%.
Wow.
Right? And all we're doing is we have a staff of 14, and we literally have teachers, assistant teachers, and helpers, moms. Some dads are out there just kind of giving these kids in this COVID-19 world, we're giving them what they're missing. One, social interaction, and also two, some love and some dedication and some one-on-one help that these kids need. I have means beyond anything that I can imagine, and yet my kids are still struggling academically, but we have the ability to support them, to fill in that gap. These kids don't. So we're filling in that gap. And that's extremely important to me because I was one of these kids. My mom was leaving a domestic violence situation, was not my father. And we had to live in a hotel. We had to live with family members. And we struggled and we didn't have a lot. And I was an Angel Tree kid, raised on food stamps, government assistance. And my mom is a hardworking and outstanding Black woman who's strong, but that's not enough, right? You can't write a check for strong when you have no money for heat.
Right.
And so my foundation is a pure reflection of what I experienced. And Gerard, my executive director, who's also my best friend, one of my best friends, and also a co-host on Cut To It. We do things that not because we think it's a great idea, because we know the experience and what it's like. And so all we're doing is taking the things and the areas we know that is a need, that we were part of the program, because there's a stigma that people who are in government assistance are lazy people. And you know what? The fact of the matter is they're not. Some of those people, they're working their butt off. They just can't they just need a little bit more help. They can't get a break. so that's what my foundation tries to do. We try to be the voice for the voiceless. And so that's all we do. We don't do anything on sports. I can give two shits about sports, man. It's about, you can't catch a football or shoot a basketball if your stomach is hungry, which means you lack the focus. And then also too, you got holes in your shoes. You don't have enough. Like, man, we're trying to build them up from the inside out, instead of worrying about like social media, the outside in.
Sure. Wow, man. That's fantastic, man. That's awesome what you're doing. That's just great. All right. So you were discussing, your best friend on the Cut to a Podcast. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about doing the podcast? How do you like it? How do you enjoy doing your podcast? I know I love doing mine. I always love like listening to y'all's podcast. It's awesome. Like you were saying, it's very upfront, very, very honest. And it's just a very entertaining listen. How, what was the process getting that all started?
Well, I'm an introvert, but I'm also very intrigued with people and how they think. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was real easy. Like we have a whole process in the team, and for me is, we get our research. They give me the research deck, and me and Gerard sit there and whittle out questions. What's intriguing? What's a waste of our time? What's a gotcha? And we take all of that stuff, man. We write it all down. We throw that out the window, and we say we ain't gonna ask none of these bullshit questions, right? Right. And then we just want to learn about the person. Who is that person? Where we always say our staple is, where are you from, and the place you call your hometown. Because you can, like, I'm living in North Carolina now. Been living here almost 20 years. But through and through, I'm an LA cat. I always go back home, always be home. Only hats I wear, you'll catch me in a Cut to It or a Charlotte hat, but most of my hats, I have probably over 70 hats. Man. 89% of my hats are all LA hats. LA Dodgers or LA Clippers.
Oh, Clippers fan. Okay.
Yeah. So, all my stuff is LA. And that's where I'm from. That's my hometown, is LA. But, I try to bring that flavor, a little bit of the Southern hospitality and a little bit of hurry up. Let's go. We got things to do, West Coast. So it's a good combination. And we have a fun time doing it because I get to learn about that person. Like most of the time, you'd be amazed. Sometimes some of the craziest things or some of the best games guys have ever had have been when their life is somehow upside down for some reason. Like Isaiah Thomas. Remember when Isaiah Thomas for the Boston Celtics, his sister died and he went out there and bawled? Yes. Because he was able to put aside all the hurt and all the anger he had and just focus on one thing. And a lot of times some of these guys and women are having their best games on the field. Mm-hmm. But they're getting their ass whooped and their hearts hurt off the field. And I know that from personal experience. So that's why a lot of our questions, a lot of stuff we do, we're going to get questions that people don't really want to ask, or I'll see an interview or I'll listen to another podcast or another interview that they've done, and they may say something. And me doing media now, they may say something and I picked up on it and then I write it down. I mean, I just did Thursday night and I had a note from week 5 on the 49ers that I saw, and this is going into week 9. So I'm always constantly writing. I have notes all over my office, writing stuff down just to go back to it when it comes up. Like I'm doing the Indianapolis Colts. They play Baltimore Ravens, I think next Thursday. Right. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Right. But I saw a stat about the Colts back in training camp that sparked my interest. So I'm always thinking, I'm always looking at an angle and looking at something well beyond my time.
Yeah, consummate professional in anything you do. That's fantastic. So you were just talking about being an analyst on Thursday night and with NFL Network. What was it like making the jump from player to analyst? Was it a pretty easy transition?
No, it wasn't. It was really it was hard, to be honest, because I want to make sure I represent the former players correctly, but also don't want to BS or string people along or lie or act like everything's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate hearing analysts talk about, oh, he's one of the best. Not everybody's one of the best in the league. So, you got some middle of the road ass dudes, right? Let's just be honest, right? And you got some guys that you'd love to have on your team. And you got some guys that you're like, we can do without him.
Sure.
So, but it's one of those things. It's not easy. It's getting easier and easier for me because I'm learning my routine and how I want to look at things and see things. But for the most part, I'm constantly looking at film. I have several accounts, Pro Football Focus, their premier, to get my numbers and facts. I have a game day pass. I have a research team that gives me information, anything that I want. So for me, I'm constantly allowing the numbers speak to me of what the game is. Sometimes I'll look at the stats and the numbers first and just dissect those, and then I'll go look at the game. And I look at it as totally different than people think. Some people are watching the game. I'm looking for why. Like the guy from snap to pass, Nick Foles is in the top 5. I think it's like 2.59 seconds between when he snaps the ball and throws it. Well, the question is, who's the people 4 through 1?
Right.
Like, those are the things that that's what makes me wake up at 5 a.m. and go, who's the other 5 people or the 4 people in front of him? What are their record? Why are they doing that? Is it in the first 15? Is it in the third quarter? Like, those are all the things that keep me up and keep me up at night and make me wake up early, because those little mathematical equations just keep my hamster going all night.
Yeah, man. I've noticed ever since I started the podcast and doing the YouTube channel and these interviews and everything, I'll wake up in the middle. I have a notebook on the side of my bed that if I have a question or I think of something just in the middle of the night, I'll write it down so I won't forget it. So yeah, I know what you mean. That's great, man. So my wife would kill me if I didn't ask this question. She actually, shout out to the wife. We're actually on our anniversary right now in New Orleans.
Hold on, you on your anniversary and you talking to me?
Oh, she's with the dog right now.
Okay. I'm about to say you ain't gonna have too much. You ain't gonna enjoy your anniversary, brother.
No, man. I'll tell you. And going into this next question, she's never really been a huge football fan, but we watched A Football Life on you a while back, and the recent interview that you did with Darren Waller, which was fantastic. And she was like, I love the way he played the game, like the tenacity that you had. And like, you didn't put up with shit from anyone. And she loves that. She's a Greek woman, so she's kind of like that at heart. So she was like, see if he's willing to answer this question. I mean, do you see any of that tenacity in any of the rookie receivers that have been drafted this season? Or
I think that I hate those questions, to be honest.
Okay.
And here's why. Just go the long way with me, and the reason I say this is because people don't really realize when somebody scores a touchdown in professional, do they all have the same number?
Right. Okay.
No. That's a question for you. Do they have the same number?
The same number as you, or as
on their jersey?
No.
Do they have names on the back of their jersey?
They do.
Okay. So who wants to score a touchdown and say, "Oh, Randy Moss scored a touchdown"? Randy Moss, a Hall of Famer, hadn't played in what, 6 years, 5 years? No. Tyreek Hill scores a touchdown. Tyreek Hill wants to hear his name. Right. Tyreek Hill didn't pick 84. He picked 11 or 10. Because why? That's the number he chose.
Right.
That's the number that he's in love with. So sometimes people will be like, hey, do you see somebody else in you? No, I don't see myself in anybody. when I see Michael Thomas, I don't see a hint of Steve Smith. I see all Michael Thomas, who's a bad SOB. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes people want to say, who's the next? Nobody wants to be the next Jerry Rice. Everybody wants to be. LeBron James isn't Michael Jordan. He wants to be better than Michael Jordan.
True.
He doesn't have King Jordans. He has King James.
It's true. Yes, sir. I got you. No, that's a great answer, actually. She'll be
so for me, do I see any wide receivers that are like me? I see some wide receivers that are well beyond advanced than I was as a third-round pick out of Utah that's coming out. But I also see some guys who, like a DK Metcalf, who he's aggressive, he plays well, but I'm not going to sit there and throw my name on the hat when that dude is 6'6", 200 of goddess. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some crazy low body fat percentage and all. Yeah.
Exactly. I like sweets too much.
No, that's a great answer. That makes perfect sense. Let me see here. So, let me see. So, something I always ask my guests: do you have any? It's one of my favorite things to ask because there normally ends up being some pretty awesome stuff that you get to hear from anybody who's on my show. Do you have any specific memories or anything that make you laugh, or like just from when you were on the road, whenever you were in the league, anything like that? Do you have anything that stands out to you above the rest? Any kind of memories from the league?
I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I do miss relationship wise.
Sure.
But this will make some headlines for you, which is good, I think. But if I'm being honest, there's so much about the league that I experienced as a football player that I never want to experience ever again.
Oh, goodness.
There's just some things, emotionally, psychologically, that I did or went through to play this game at a high level that I think I just don't want to go do again. I don't miss it just because of the mental things that I had to do, how much I had to push myself. And at times I just kind of felt that, what's the nice word to say? It's a job, man.
Okay.
Just, like it's like you have kids or you have a dog?
Yeah, we got a dog, yeah.
Okay. So let me give you this one. I got a dog too.
All right.
You know what I don't like my dog? At 7 o'clock in the morning when there's a big pile of shit that I got to pick up and it's hot off the press.
Yeah.
Right? But other than that, I rocks with my dog. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times where it ain't always fun.
That makes perfect sense.
and that's how the league was. Like, there are times, man, I was worn out physically and mentally. And I miss the relationships, but I don't miss going through all the stuff that I had to put myself through. My last couple of years of training, especially my last year, was a rehab. It was 11 months of trying to rehab myself from a double rupture Achilles to get out there and just play. Man, that was a tough deal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I don't miss that. I don't care how much money you paying somebody. There's just some times where it hurts.
Man, I love it. That's a very honest answer. I like that. That's very good. It's what I know you for. So let me see here. Almost finished, my man. I'll let you get back to your driving. Again, I can't thank you enough. Is there, and this is kind of like the question before, and I'm trying to reword it.
Is there a DB is it going to be about DB?
Is there anybody in the league you think can hang with you now?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of dudes that can hang with me now. I'm 41 years old.
I'm talking about whenever you were balling at the highest level.
No, I don't think that's a fair comparison. Just because the game has changed, the rules are different, and listen, different systems, different offenses, different defenses. To Tre'Davious White with the Bills, man, fantastic player. I'm not gonna sit here and say, man, I could beat him one-on-one at 41. Bro, I don't know. I know I would have gave him my all, but that's a very talented guy. Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, that guy's incredible.
He's doing a great job. I don't think it's fair to say that I can beat a guy. Now, if you telling me some third and fourth corners in the league, easy. I can get that.
No problem.
At 41, no problem. But you talking about starters? I need a couple of months to train. And that's the truth, man. That's the truth. I've been working on running and stuff, and I'm running my butt off now about 3-4 times a week. But I'm not training to play football. I'm just running, trying to just stay in shape and clear my mind and give myself some things, not allow the idle time to allow the devil to set his workshop in my mind. So I run for sanity and also for health, because I have diabetes on both sides of my family. So I'm trying to stay fit. Overall, my grandmother got it. She was the last out of her family, her siblings, to get it at 60 something years old. She had a brother and a cousin that died from it at 16 and 19 years old. So for me, my dad has it. He got it in his my dad got it in his 40s, and then my mom got it in her late 30s, early 40s. I'm 41. So for me, it's exercise for me is really I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle. Absolutely. And so it's extremely important that my working out now is a lifestyle.
Yeah, you got kiddos, man. That's a big deal. That's all. I see you too. I see you working hard on IG, man. It's impressive.
I'm putting in that work, and I used to hate running. Now I love it. I'm averaging. I'm getting up to pretty much 3 miles, almost 3 miles a day, and it's pretty cool to see progress. So I'm really enjoying it and grinding it out.
That's awesome. Last thing, my friend, and then you're free to go. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you are a world-class trash talker. I don't know. You don't see me, so I don't know if you even know what I look like. I was wondering if you were to want to get into my head or how would you roast a guy like me? To give you a little bit of help, see, I don't know if you know who Big Show is or Triple H.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you look like Big Show. I think I've seen you, but here's the other thing, man. Is that's part of my past that, like, when I turn that on, it's not necessarily the nicest thing. There's several thoughts in my mind when I saw you remind me of, but at the end of it, as I really get older and see, man, there's too many times we're so focused on the negatives or focused on things with people that we really don't take the time to really find out who they are.
Sure.
And the guy that you actually remind me of, which I think is really cool, is you look like the dude from This Is Us, that show.
Oh my God, everybody says that. But
you know what? And let me tell you, that's a compliment because I love that show.
Appreciate that.
But really, if I'm being honest and transparent, man, there's too many people that I ran into that I played. Instead of building them up, man, I tore them down.
Sure.
Right. And I kind of want to live the rest of the back end of my career, journalism, putting people down. I want to give them, through my podcast and my interviews, an opportunity to voice who they really are.
Sure.
Too many people are talking about NFL players are thugs. Let me tell y'all something. If you go and look at going to a organization and you see how much work is put into it, and you look up the word thug, they don't go together. Now, yeah, there's some mistakes and some things that people do that are very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, playing in the NFL or having a job, you're not a thug. A real thug is a person sitting on the corner looking for an easy way out. So for me, man, I just I try to represent an athlete as my career outside of football. Because when I played, I didn't really care about people's opinion to some degree because I just did what I wanted to do, how I felt. But now more is giving people a perspective and opportunity, not to play into the dumb card narrative. And for me, cursing and putting people down, that's easy for me, man. That's a shortcut. That's being lazy. Complimenting people and making their day, that takes a lot of energy. And so that's what I'm really about now.
That's awesome. I love hearing that, man. That's fantastic. I promise you, it was more of a fun thing.
No, I know what you're saying. No, I get it. But I'm just being honest and transparent, bro. Like, you know, I just got where we are right now. We got so much bad news, bro. Sometimes it's just good to get some good news. You feel me?
Absolutely. And I love that. That is better than anything else you could have said, man. That's fantastic. I really, really love that answer. That was just awesome. You're absolutely right. With all this crap that's going on nowadays, we got to have some positivity. It's definitely something that the world needs. And speaking of which, I wanted to let everybody out there know to look into joining Team 89, a group, volunteering platform that has donated over 3,000 hours back to the community, possibly even more since I've read that stat. Partnering with organizations like Turning Point, Team 89. I mean, they organize the clothing for women and domestic violence survivors, Dress for Success, as well as delivered furniture to their most vulnerable residents with beds for kids. You can sign up and learn of volunteer opportunities. And as if the joy of helping your community wasn't enough, Team 89 is launching a peer-to-peer fundraising opportunities with ways to earn special prizing experiences with Mr. Steve Smith Sr. here, my guest. It has been an honor having you on, sir. Thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Appreciate it. And also, after you get off the phone and after you get off the Zoom and your wife come in, give her a kiss, man, and smack her on the tush. I'm telling you. And then when she says why, I say, because I'm the luckiest man out there. That's why.
Yes, sir. You got that, man.
Happy anniversary, bro.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Agent 89, Steve Smith Sr. Have a great trip. Be safe, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
All right. Wash your hands, too, man.
You got